Good morning, everyone. It's me, Epic Sportif, and today we have the very first episode of What If Naruto Was Adopted. So I've kind of done a series like this a few times now, where one was What If Naruto Was Adopted by the legendary Sannin, and I want to do another one. This time around, I am thinking about what if Naruto was adopted by the Nara clan. In case some of you, dimwits, don't know who the Nara clan essentially are, Shikamaru and his family. So Naruto is to be raised by the Nara clan. Alright, let's get into this and how it would actually come about. To make sure this happens, we gotta change a few factors early on. Minato's right-hand man is gonna have to be Shikamaru's father because he's a fucking genius. And it would make sense for Minato to pick someone like him to be a second-hand man for himself. So Shikamaru's father, Shukaku Nara, is going to be Minato's essentially assistant, aide, friend, whatever you want to call him. After Minato's death, while he is essentially dying, Minato looks at Shukaku and he tells him to take care of his son. Shukaku, obviously not being able to say no to a dying man and his friend, and technically his boss as well, says, "Of course, sir, it would be my pleasure." And so here we have it. Naruto has been adopted first thing. So we're gonna have to go into the whole village meetings where the elders essentially don't want Naruto to be taken by the Nara clan because they fear what having such a powerful weapon in the hands of one singular clan could mean for the whole village. But Shukaku essentially, with his amazing speaking skills and great intellect, does manage to convince them all but Danzo's a prick, so fuck him, who cares, right? So Naruto gets adopted by the Nara clan. Now, just because he's adopted doesn't mean there isn't some prejudice against him. Naruto is still hated by most of the village. They just try to hide it a bit better. If you guys hear noise in the background, fuck it, the neighbors are a bit noisy. So, Naruto is still hated by a bunch of the clans within the Hidden Leaf village. The Uchihas are mostly neutral to him because, let's be honest, they know how it feels to be marginalized. So, quite a few of the Uchihas actually sympathize with Naruto, including Sasuke and Itachi and Shizui as well. Naruto is raised by Shukaku to be a good thinker, such as Shikamaru himself. He does grow a bit of a bit more hyper than he was in the original, just to account for Shikamaru's extreme laziness. Now, I don't think he would be lazy just because he was now adopted, just don't feel like it. But, you know, Naruto's extreme hyperness does somewhat rub off on Shikamaru, and he's a bit more willing to experience more things and play around a bit more. Naruto is, from his childhood, he is taught by Shukaku to think things through and to, focus on the important matters, which would essentially be his strategizing. And he essentially plays chess a lot with Shukaku and Shikamaru. They go around, have a lot of fun, and then the Uchihas are fucking massacred. Naruto was decent friends with Sasuke when they were younger because Naruto, Shikamaru, Choji, Sasuke, they hung out with one another playing in the playgrounds. And when Sasuke's family were massacred by his brother, Naruto, Shikamaru, and Choji go on to comfort their good friend. Sasuke does initially reject them because, let's be honest, the guy went through a lot at a very young age, but eventually he opens up to his friends and cries his heart out when they do embrace each other. Naruto, Shikamaru, Choji, Sasuke, they're like the golden quadruplet? The golden quad team. I don't fucking know. What do you call a four-man team? Just the golden team, I guess. The golden team is the village, where Naruto is somewhat hated, Sasuke is somewhat hated, Shikamaru and Choji mostly neutral, somewhat liked. So I guess it kind of balances things out. When Naruto and Sasuke and Shikamaru and Choji are then enrolled within the academy, a few things do actually change. Now, Naruto is raised by a very smart man, Shukaku. And Shukaku would obviously focus a fuck ton on his education, on his intellect, on his ability to think things through and think outside the box. The outside the box part mostly came from Naruto's own personality because he was just so hyper, I suppose. Now, Naruto and Sasuke, they are put in the same team mostly to balance out a weaker person, Kunoichi, I suppose, inside of their team. Now, you guys can decide who this Kunoichi should be, but try to make it so it's somewhat of a underdog candidate, because Naruto and Sasuke are both intelligent and decently powerful genin already. So to balance out the team, the female Kunoichi would have to be a weakling. Sakura would somewhat count, but then again her intellect did raise her rank to number 1, so I do not necessarily want her in the team, but if you guys do desire her, I mean, as much as you can desire Sakura in anything, then I suppose we could add her in. But I'm leaning more towards a 10-10 or maybe even a fucking Karin. We could get her in. I could change up a few more in the history of the village to get Karin in the village, I guess. So that's that. Now let's move on. The bell test would obviously happen. Naruto, Sasuke, and this mystery third Kunoichi. Let's be honest, Kunoichis in Naruto won't do jack shit for the first fucking half of the entire series, alright? Let's be honest about that. So this random third Kunoichi are put in this team. You know what, for now I'm gonna say it's 10-10. Because of her lack of jutsus, she's ranked fairly low. Let's say that. So Naruto and Sasuke are obviously, they've been training since childhood, so they know their shit and they know what to do. Naruto and Sasuke and this third Kunoichi, 10-10, I suppose, are a decent team from the start. Now, 10-10 is a kind person. She doesn't hate Naruto, she doesn't love Sasuke, so she's a decent neutral third party in the team. This would actually mean that Sakura gets put in fucking Guy Sensei's team, which would be somewhat interesting because Sakura is a physical fighter, so I guess it would actually be a good team for her. Anyway, so yeah, 10-10 essentially uses a long distance strategy, deploying kunais and fucking shurikens and pebbles at Kakashi, while Naruto and Sasuke are coming up with strategies. Sasuke is trying to distract him early on so Naruto can think things through and decide how they should approach him, at which point Naruto makes about 3 to 4 shadow clones and gets Sasuke out of the situation by distracting Kakashi with his shadow clones. Naruto has been trained in the fire style and some basic mud style jutsus and very minor wind style jutsus, so some basic ninja jutsu shit. Naruto and Sasuke then come up with the idea where, let's see if I can voice this. So Sasuke, I have a plan. We need to essentially outmaneuver Kakashi Sensei. Now, from what I've read up on him, he has the Sharingan. We can't let that come out, so it has to be a very quick belt snatch. If he gets out his Sharingan, we're essentially fucked in the ass. Or fingered in the ass in this anime sense, I suppose. Anyway, I'm going to be creating about 50 shadow clones to distract Kakashi Sensei while you and 10-10 try to snipe the balls out of him. 10-10 is the best with the kunai, so she's going to be using them, but then again I think Sasuke would actually be better because of his basic Sharingan. So Sasuke is going to be the one throwing kunais, 10-10 is going to be the one doing long distance distractions, and when we get the balls, we'll decide what to do with them after. Naruto then creates 50 shadow clones to attack Kakashi Senpai, and Kakashi is fairly distracted. He doesn't feel like he needs to get his Sharingan out because Naruto hasn't pushed him to the point where it would be, that Sasuke would. So Naruto is essentially backing himself off to the point where Kakashi doesn't need his Sharingan to beat him. Kakashi does feel kinda strange, like Naruto's not giving it his all, but he can't focus because 50 people ganging up on you, you try to focus. Naruto uses some mid-range Winjutsus and some close-range fire jutsus to try and get Kakashi moving a bit, at which point Sasuke manages to snipe the balls from his belt with a precisely thrown kunai. The balls then drop, of course, Tenten's there throwing her kunais and shit and also distracting Kakashi because of those. Which would create a decently difficult environment for Kakashi, as Naruto's there keeping him busy from close range, while long range kunais are coming in for Kakashi from Tenten, who's sitting at a place where he can't see her properly enough. So it's a pretty good strategy overall. The balls then fall, at which point a Naruto clone does snatch them and go back towards the team, and they declare, "We got the balls!" Kakashi is impressed by the team's teamwork, and he does decide, you know what, you all pass, let's go, yay! Naruto and Sasuke then meet up with Choji and Shikamaru, who are of course in the Inoshikacho trio. They don't actually know Ino well enough, because Ino never hung out with them from what I gather, like Shikamaru and Choji from when they were younger, so I wouldn't see why they would know her. But, you know, Naruto and Sasuke do congratulate them on being in a team. They congratulate Naruto and Sasuke on being in a team. They all go to Choji's house for some amazing food, and that's where we're gonna leave the first episode. I feel this could be interesting, but for this series to take off, I'm gonna need you guys to like this video. I'm gonna need at least 30 likes for the next episode to come out. If you want it done within 3 days, 30 likes in about 2 hours. I'll give you 2 hours, why not? Share this video so it gets some views. The last video did horribly bad, so I'm a bit saddened because I did feel the last video could, you know, I had a proper script going for it, then nobody watched it. So if you guys, you know, if you would do it, it would make me quite happy from the bottom of my heart. And of course, for eternal happiness, ring that bell, because apparently nobody gets my fucking notifications anymore, so yeah, ringing the bell would be quite nice. Now, for those 3 people who stood till the end, here's an outro song. Fuck that, I completely fucked that up. I'll see you soon enough, just wait for me. I'll see you soon enough, just wait. I'm not gonna sing another line because I think that was horrible, so peace out.